Away from whatever it is that you're doing, not that I have the slightest idea what that is.
You want to tell me what's up?
I had a little visit from Shayna. She wants to put out a memo about you joining the company. Now, I had to think fast in explaining why I don't have your resume.
What did you say?
I said I left it at home.
Sounds reasonable.
Not if I have to follow up on it. All right, Hollister, I want to know what you're doing in Corinth. What am I fronting here?
What difference does it make? It's not as if you have a choice.
I want to know.
If you need a resume, I'll give you one. And I'll see to it that my credentials more than qualify me for the job.
I'm sure you will. But you better make sure that it checks out. Shayna's pretty shrewd. She can spot phony references a mile away.
I'll have a first-class resume on your desk in half an hour. And all of it will be legitimate. How's that?
Fine, as long as it fools. How can I help it? Hollister, you still haven't answered my question. What are you up to?
Okay, fine, don't believe me. Ask your mother yourself. Who is that?
It's me.
Oh, Clayton, you scared me half to death. I thought you'd gone home hours ago.
Well, I did, but I came back to talk to you.
Well, I'm just leaving.
Yeah, I can see that. Looks like it didn't take Harry Sawalski very long to make up his mind. Threw you right out onto the street where you belong.
Lights off on your way out.
Wait a minute, Gwen. I'm not finished.
Well, I am.
I want to know about Rick Stewart.
What about... You mean your dear little wife didn't fill you in on all the loving details? Now, that's remarkable, knowing her.
Knock it off, Gwen. I think I have a right to hear it firsthand.
Why? Clayton, it doesn't have anything to do with you.
You have an illegitimate child before we were married, and now you make it public and it doesn't have anything to do with me? It has everything to do with me and our children. Not that you were really concerned about them. Your main concern was hanging on to Harry Sawalski.
And your main concern is your stupid male pride.
And you're such an expert on male pride, considering how you expertly can strip a man of it. So, you started when you were 17. But I'm lucky at 17. You know, the pattern of your life is remarkably consistent. You go from bed to bed, from man to man, right up until and through our marriage, auctioning off your body to the highest bidder. Oh, what's the matter, Gwen? Does the truth hurt? Well, a little truth never bothered you before.
Take your hands off of me, Clayton.
I bet you never even told the father about his son, did you?
The father was the last person I wanted to know.
Why?
You don't know anything about me, and you think you know so damn much. My 3 children all have the same father, Clayton, and that is you.
Hurry up, Clay! What's taking you so long? Oh, there you are. Quick, sit down. Breakfast is getting cold.
Ava, don't play games with me so early in the morning. I know what you're up to. You want to know what happened between Gwen and I last night.
Okay,
And you get those damn workmen started at the break of dawn just so you can get me out of bed and down here.
No, I wasn't...
Where I find this very elegant breakfast. You are curious, aren't you?
Well, you promised you were going to tell me about your conversation with Gwyneth last night after you had a good night's rest. Well, it's morning, and I'm listening.
Later.
Oh, no. I forgave you last night for being so rude. I know how unpleasant it is to breathe the same air as that witch. But I'm ready now. So, out of her?
Something like that.
I wish there was a fly on the wall. Well, how'd you react?
Well, I must admit, the conversation did take an interest.
What do you mean?
Well, Gwen had the last word, or I should say, the last 5 words.
What 5 words?
She said, Rick Stewart is your son.
Can't be your son. Gwyneth is lying.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, I am. That slut would say anything to... around for having an illegitimate baby and then getting rid of it.
Oh, Clay, no wonder you were so upset when you came home last night. You're gonna fall for this. It's just too ludicrous.
It's not as ludicrous as it may seem.
You're not saying you believe her.
I'm not saying I do. I'm not saying I don't. What I am saying is that Gwen and I were sleeping with one another before we got married.
Oh, you think you were the only one she was having sex with? Oh, please, give me a break.
Gwen was not sleeping around.
Oh, she would say that, wouldn't she? Don't you see she's trying to pin her mistake on you?
I don't know.
She's only doing this to you because you're in Alden, to see if she can get more money out of you or something.
Maybe. But I was thinking about it all last night. And I cannot dismiss the fact that Rick Stewart may be my son.
I know you made these plans for dinner tonight, but you've been so wound up lately. What do you say we postpone the dinner and take off for New York this afternoon, huh? Take in a few shows, stay a couple of days, maybe do some shopping?
What?
I said, why don't we go to New York and we'll have the dinner another night? We need to have some fun.
Ava, I've invited Rick for dinner.
I know, but I'm sure he'll understand.
All right, Ava, listen to me. We cannot pretend that this didn't happen. It did. And you have to understand my problem. When you find out that you have a new child, that's no small thing.
I know. I'm only trying to take your mind off of it. Well, not successfully. Oh, Clay. You've had this on your mind. You can't get it off your mind. It's gonna be flattering to your adoring wife.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. I can't stop thinking about it and how it's going to change everything. All right. I'll try not to dwell on it.
Okay, good. You know, every time I see this old bullet wound of yours from your espionage days, I don't know, I just can't help thinking about what a hard life you've had, how much you've been through, how much pleasure you deserve.
Well, I don't know about what a hard life I've had, but I sure do like the deserving of the pleasure part. Getting hot in here or what?
I'll say. Want to get out and cool off?
And cooling off is not exactly what I had in mind. Oh. Ava, you got soap in my eyes.
I'm sorry. Hey, speaking of old scars, Curtis once told me you used to have a big one on your left side, but it's not there. I wonder what he was talking about.
Scar? What scar are you talking about?
Little boy, it tore open your side. Curtis remembers it left an awful scar. If that's so, what happened to it? When we were married, he said he was planting one of the trees in the ground somewhere and he got stuck, so you had to go rescue him. Surely, darling, you remember it. Curtis said that you were trying to fish him down. The branch you were standing on broke, and then you fell, and then another branch tore open your side. He said the scar you had was positively gruesome. So what happened to it?
Sweetheart, there's no mystery here. It healed and went away.
But how could it?
It wasn't that bad.
Well, Curtis seemed to remember
Oh,
this.
Curtis. How old was Curtis at the time? 4, 5 years old? What looked like a major injury to a 4 or 5-year-old was really nothing more than a minor scratch. Oh, I remember. I bled quite a lot. Maybe that's what impressed him. But I had a bandage on for about 3 or...
What?
Well, I think he told his playmates about his father's daring rescue and about the big, horrible scar as if it were a war wound or something. And as he got older, in his head, fiction became fact.
You know, you're probably right. Sounds just like Curtis. But you know what? I can't help being impressed by all the scars you do have. Like your old bullet wound. Oh, darling, you must have had so many dangerous adventures. Please?
Sweetheart, that part of my life is over. And I don't want to talk about it, okay?
Not even to me?
Look, these adventures, as you call them, got me thrown into a prison camp for 2 years. I would like to put that chapter of my life way behind me. Okay? Come here.
I don't believe it.
I know, it's an awful lot to take in. First you find out that Rick is your half-brother, and now you find out that he's your... Morning.
Want to see me?
Yeah. Why don't we talk over coffee at the executive dining room?
I'd prefer it if we did.
Afraid Shane is going to see us together?
Why would I worry about that? After all, I'm an employee of Alden Enterprises.
Hey, you have an elaborate cover story. Especially that very creative resume you handed me. Did you write that yourself?
Are you fishing for information, Clay? If so, why don't you just tell me what you're looking for?
Well, I just want to know what the hell you're doing in Corinth. I want to know the real reason.
Town people keep asking me what I'm doing here.
Yeah? What do you tell them?
Well, I used the cover story you and I agreed upon. You made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Well, what's the real answer?
Don't ask, Clay. You're better off not knowing, believe me.
Why don't you let me be the judge of that?
Look, I'm operating under orders on a strict need-to-know basis. It doesn't concern you.
It does concern me, damn it. The minute you had me provide you with cover, then it concerned me. All right. What if I went to Jim and Shayna? And
They know everything they need to.
maybe. Maybe not. And see what we come up with.
It would be very unwise, Clay. You have everything to lose in an exchange of information.
You're not threatening me, are you?
Only a reminder. We go back many years. And during those years, certain things happened that you would not want revealed. Am I right? Especially to Shayna and the rest of your family. Need I go on? Good. Arrivederci. I got your message. What can I do for you?
For starters, sit down. I want to know what your being in Corinth has to do with Shayna.
Nothing. What makes you think it does?
She slipped and told me that she knows why I hired you because of our association with our government work.
That's so.
And I know you wouldn't have told her a thing unless somehow she's involved with whatever it is that you're doing.
Not necessarily.
Bull. I want you to tell me the truth. I've given you everything you've asked for. I have squashed all suspicions people had when you first started to work here. I deserve an explanation.
Nobody knows better than you how dangerous this business can be, Clay. Don't you have enough sense to stay out of it?
When you involve my sister, you involve me.
This sudden concern for family is fascinating.
You will tell me, or else.
Or else? Or else? My. Remember, I have enough on you to blow you right out of this elegant office.
And I have enough on you to blow you out of town.
All right. Let's both just calm down, shall we? You want to know what I'm doing in Corinth?
Yes.
All right. I'll tell you. Why don't we get that cup of coffee?
Sweetheart, I know you want to believe that Rick is your son, but wouldn't you feel more comfortable if you really knew it for a fact?
Didn't I just say
I
that
know what you just said, but there is one way to make absolutely sure. A blood test.
What? Are you out of your mind? I'm not gonna put my son through that. What? Deny him like his mother?
But Clay,
no!
you don't...
I'm not going to have him jump through any more hoops. Now, he is my son. And that is that.
Rick, it is going to be so great having you here.
It is going to be great. Have you got all your stuff here, son?
Well, I'm afraid not. I've got to make one more trip by Mrs. Rescott's.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take the limo? Just drop me off at work, and then maybe Hastings can help you load up your stuff.
If it's no inconvenience.
Hey, you live here, remember?
What's ours is yours, son.
Okay, twist my arm.
Are you sure that'll be necessary? Rick, is there anything left in your car?
Are we upset?
When did you get the first hint?
Ava, this is a very large house. I think we'll be able to adjust.
You're right, darling. I'm sorry if I was anything less than hospitable. You forgive me?
Nothing. You're upset at our argument last night, aren't you?
Yeah, all right. I am a little concerned. No, puzzled.
Puzzled? What are you puzzled about, Ava?
Because you refused to take the blood test. You know, prove your paternity of Rick beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Ava, I thought we discussed this last night.
I know. You think it'll be an insult to him, almost like he was being rejected.
That's right.
But, sweetheart, I think it would make him feel welcome. Because there are going to be doubts, especially considering that Gwyneth is the only one who can be absolutely sure. We all know what a wonderful witness she could be.
Ava, can we drop this conversation?
Of course.
Good. Thank you. Now, I have to go to the office. I'm late. I'll see you tonight. What the hell are you trying to pull here?
Just giving you fair warning, Clayton. My section chief, Brad Collins, is coming in to check on the operation. Now, since you provided me with the job I needed for cover, he's going to want to thank you in person.
And I'm telling you, I don't know this Brad Collins guy.
And he probably doesn't know you either. But he knew the real Clay Alden. They're friends. So the game may be over, Clay. Or should I call you Alex?
Don't you ever call me that again, do you understand? There is no more Alex. Just Clay. Clay!
And how is Clay planning to handle my boss?
First off, Clay and this Collins guy were not friends. They were casual acquaintances at most.
What makes you so sure?
Because I pumped Clayton Alden for every detail of his personal and professional life when we were prisoners in that camp.
And what if Brad knew Clay because of his involvement in a top security project that Clay felt he couldn't talk to you about?
No, you don't understand. We were the next, so there was no reason for him to hold back. None.
Maybe.
No, there's no maybe about it. There was nothing to do but sit in that filthy hut and talk. And talk he did. Clayton Alden poured his heart out to me day after day, and I listened.
But what if he mentioned Brad Collins and you forgot?
I don't forget anything. No. If Clay met this Collins guy on a project, then his involvement wasn't important enough for him to even bother to tell me about it.
All right, but the bottom line is Brad Collins met the real Clay Alden. He knows what he looks like.
That doesn't make any difference. He was burned very... And his plastic surgery totally altered his looks. That much is documented. No, Collins will buy me as Clay. The only problem that I see lies in the details of the activities of the agency, which he expects me to know about, and you're going to fill me in on.
And what makes you think I want to save your butt?
Because, Daniel, I have information about certain activities that could be quite damaging to you and your involvement with Jim Bochek here.
Don't you strong-arm me, old pal. The easiest way out of this thing is to simply tell Brad the truth.
And risk everything? No. No one is to know the truth. You got that?
Your luck is going to run out. There's no way you can carry this thing off much longer.
Don't you ever underestimate me. Look at this. I've gotten this far, nobody found out, not even Ava. Even the family doesn't suspect.
Suspect what?
Enough?
I thought you were away to meeting Clay, and your secretary wasn't at her desk. And I'd apologize for interrupting, except perhaps it's just as well that I did. Now, exactly what is it that the family doesn't suspect?
Well, we were talking about Dan's attempt at forcing Jim's memory, and After our conversation the other day, I was tearing into him about involving the family at all in this whole mess.
Well, I have to hand it to you. You play the part of the protective brother very convincingly.
I'm very fond of the Alden family.
Even so, I think you're walking a tightrope, old man. And one of these days, I have a feeling you're going to take a very bad fall. Doing our best.
Well, it's not good enough.
Brad! Brad Collins! Oh, it's my face. I know, I look a little bit different these days.
Well, that is an understatement. Now, Dan told me about your reconstructive surgery, but I wasn't expecting anything so extensive.
Yeah, believe me, it takes some getting used to. It's been a long time.
When exactly did you two work together?
Well, let's see, it was, when was it?
1982. Our agencies cooperated on an operation in the Middle East.
1982? Has it been 6 years? Seems like only yesterday.
How could you forget?
Was the operation a success?
With a couple of guys like us on it, what do you think?
Yeah, we did all right. I wouldn't want to go through it again, though.
No, neither would I. Were you as relieved it was over as I was?
You bet. And I better get back to the hotel and get settled in. Dan, I'll check back with you later.
Right.
Hey, Brad. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, me too. Let's get together and, chew the fat.
You did all right for round one. But he just came to town. You got a lot of time to screw up.
Hey, the whole world thinks I'm Clay Alden. Hell, sometimes I think I'm Clay Alden. And I'm gonna remain Clay Alden as long as it suits me.
I only hope that Ava's accepted him.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about Ava. She was, of course, shocked at first, but I had a very serious conversation with her about it. I think she'll come along fine.
Rick. I'm so happy for you.
Welcome aboard, Rick. Good day.
Hi, welcome to the family. Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have the honor of proposing a toast to the newest member of the family. We wish you happiness and long life in our midst.
Go on, there's something that I must say.
Yes, what is it, Ava?
I can't tell you how much it pains me to say this. But Rick isn't Clay's son. He's an imposter. His A-B. Clay's is O. His mother's is A. There's no way Clay could possibly be Rick's father. He's an imposter, a fraud. Shame on you.
Is this true?
It wasn't my fault. It was my mother. She's the one who thought of it. It was her idea.
Go. Go at once, and never darken our door again.
Please, let me stay. I'll do anything. I'll be your gardener, your handyman, anything. Don't kick me out.
From him.
Out!
Out! Out! Out!
Ava, what can I say? We owe you a debt of gratitude. Dear family, we welcome all of you to this auspicious occasion, but especially the newest Alden. May I ask you to join me in drinking to his health? To you, Rick.
Here, here, here.
To you, Rick.
Here, here.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I don't know what to say, except that I'm very proud and honored to be a part of this family.
Here, 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 here.
Welcome to where you belong.
Welcome, brother. Sorry it didn't happen sooner.
Thank you.
So my. Welcome to the family. Well,
Welcome, Larry. Excuse me, everybody, but I'd like to say something, too.
Ava, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. What are you doing?
I'm having a shrimp. Is there something wrong with Louise's shrimp?
Not with the shrimp, but I think there's something wrong with you.
Of course, Mr. Alden. How could I forget? You're allergic, remember?
Well, I certainly do. Daddy, one bite and you blow up like a balloon. How could you forget?
What?
Daddy!
Sweetheart, don't worry about me. At one time, I was allergic to shrimp, but no more.
Really?
Well, allergies change, Ann. Ask any doctor. Ask Ava. My favorite dish is scampi, right, Ava?
Oh, yes. Clay's absolutely right.
And I've never had a bad reaction.
No, never.
Well, there you go.
Well, how did you find out? I mean, how did you ever dare try it?
Well, when I was working in the Far East for the government, I had a dish that I later found out had shrimp in it. I didn't react, so I knew.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day. But I interrupted you, Ava.
You did?
You were about to say something.
I was?
Ava, are you all right?
I just wanted to add my own good wishes to everyone else's. Rick, welcome to the family.
Could this be serious?
Ava, Ava. What's wrong with you tonight?
Oh, nothing. I'm sorry. It's that
No,
headache.
come on. Now, there's something wrong. I know you, Ava. There's a problem. What is it?
Oh, it's nothing. It's like I told you before. I'm okay, really.
I know what you told me, but downstairs...
It's probably just a touch of the flu or whatever your mother's come down with. Not to worry. I'll be fine.
What's going on?
What?
Sweetheart, why did you pull away from me like that? Is that any way to greet your husband in the morning?
I'm sorry, darling.
Ava, you seemed awful distant. Especially last night when we were making love.
I'm fine, Clay, really.
No, you're not.
Clay, it's nothing.
Ava, look, I know there's a problem. Tell me, what is it? Was it something I said or did last night?
No, I told you it's nothing.
Come on, level with me, Ava.
I am. It's just that I'm...
What's the matter?
I'm sorry, darling. I don't want to worry you, but I'm really not feeling all that well.
Really? Well, you don't seem to have a fever.
Yeah, well, remember after dinner last night, I started complaining of a headache.
Yeah, that was about the time you started acting very strange.
Well, I really didn't get any sleep at all last night. I mean, between the headache and the chills.
You sure it isn't something I said or did?
Why do you keep asking that?
Because the way you're looking at me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was doing that.
You're mad because of Rick, aren't you?
No, honestly, I'm not. I mean, I believe that he's your son. I've accepted him. I mean, I made a toast to him, didn't I? I mean, it's just this cold or whatever it is I've got. I'm just down and drained, and I'm not myself.
All right. Okay, you're going to stay in bed.
All day. Do you understand what I'm saying?
All right.
All right, and I'll have Louise bring your breakfast in here.
Then I'll check in on you when I'm at the office, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Clay,
Hmm?
you really do love me, don't you?
What kind of a question is that? Of course I do. I love you more than anything else in the world. Okay? Okay.
Clay,
Huh?
nothing. I just love you, too. So very much. A suggestion?
Sure.
Why don't you call your secretary and tell her to hold all calls and not disturb you for a while, huh? Okay? I love you so much. I don't know what I'd do if I ever lost you.
Oh, why should you have to?
Well, I thought you told me not to do that.
Well, it must be important. This is a place that's right. Well, I don't know where the mess-up came from, but I'll look into it. Yes, I'll have my people telex it out to you. Good. Well, I'm glad you called and we got this straightened out. Right. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Who's Eleanor Tyson?
Hmm?
From his check, the name for some reason sounds familiar. Tyson.
Eleanor Tyson. Frank Tyson was the pilot that was killed in the crash when we went skydiving that day.
Oh, of course.
He left a wife and kids. I've been sending a check every now and then. Of course, money is not going to compensate anybody for a father or a husband. But I'm sure it helps.
Oh, sweetheart, you never mentioned it to me. I love you so much. I'm the lucky... Good heavens.
All right, this is my people to confirm that's the board. We had discussed this. Right.
Yeah. I gotta tell you something. I owe it to you.
What? What?
I gotta tell you the truth about me.
It's very important that we get this correct. We're going to keep our offices open in Japan. We have to be very competitive.
I've been lying to you. I've been lying to everybody.
It's extremely important that you get this correct. You understand? All right, before you send it out, why don't you send it over to me, and I'll check out the details, make everything right. Thank you.
You know, darling, remember that check I saw at your office? The one with, that you made out to the wife of the pilot in the skydiving accident?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, seeing it there just brought back the whole experience, you know. Being lost in the woods and you being so badly hurt. And all of a sudden, I remembered something that you said right before we were rescued.
Oh? What's that?
It was very strange. You said you wanted me to know the truth about you. That you weren't the man I thought you were. What did you mean by that? Mean, Clay. You were trying to tell me something and then you passed out.
Well, the truth is, it's a little embarrassing.
What?
I wanted to confess to you that I wasn't really the man you thought I was. You see, Ava, I knew I was very close to dying. What little life I had left was because of you. How much I owed you, but most of all, I wanted to tell you how much I loved you. Before well...
You're kidding.
No, and I guess I passed out before I could say anything else.
Oh, Clay, you were just the sweetest man. It's just what I should have thought of this. Oh.
There you go.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
How you doing here?
I was hoping to catch you alone. I'm in luck.
Well, I'm a little busy right now.
Oh, well, let's get right to it. Tell me, how well do you and Dan Hollister know each other?
Well enough, I suppose. Why?
Well, when he told me that you got him that nice cover job here at AE, I figured that you went way back together. Is that true?
Well, we bumped into one another here and there.
Oh, where did you first meet? Well, simple question, Clay.
Look, Brad, you know that we are working for different agencies.
Yeah?
And there are some things I'm just not at liberty to discuss. I signed a security oath.
You're right. You're right. Well, tell me this. What do you think of Dan?
What do I think of him? He's competent. What are you fishing for?
Well, some people say that after a while undercover work, you know, all that pressure, mortal danger and all that, sometimes can confuse an agent's loyalties.
Are you questioning Dan's loyalty to the agency?
Well, let's just say I have certain unanswered questions.
Oh, it'd be great to take to charity and, well, this old rocking chair just needs a couple coats of paint. Nail it.
Hey, what's wrong? What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid.
Well, you sure acted like it, the way you pulled back from me like that.
It's just the way you're looking at me.
Ava, can't you interpret my look by now? Can't you see that I want you?
Oh, Clay, you couldn't be serious. I mean, it's just so dusty up here, filled with cobwebs and...
Yeah, well, it is dusty. Hey, why don't we take a shower and go soak in the hot tub?
Well, that sounds wonderful, but, you know, why don't you just give me a few more minutes to finish going through all this stuff?
Okay. But don't take long. Hey, what took you so long? I expected you down sooner.
Well, there was just so much up there. It took me longer to sift through it than I thought.
Well, still time to get in the hot tub.
Yes, well, why don't you go on up ahead and I'll join you.
Well, what about you?
Well, I'm going to talk to Soames before he goes to bed. I want to make sure he takes care of those things from the attic as soon as possible tomorrow
Ava,
morning.
is this really all that important?
Well, you know me. Once I set my mind to things, I have to take care of them as soon as possible.
All right. But this time, don't take so long. I'm going to come down here and haul you away. Sweetheart, what's wrong with you? Why are you so jumpy?
You just startled me.
Well, I just came in to check on you before I took off for work.
That's very sweet of you, darling. I'll be fine.
Are you sure? Sweetheart, I think I'm going to call the doctor.
No, sweetheart, really. All I need is a little rest. Why do you fuss over me, Clay?
Well, because I love you, that's why.
And I love you. And I promise you if I'm not over this soon, I'll see a doctor.
All right, you better.
And you better get to the office.
Oh, bossing me around already?
That'll be the day I boss Clay Alden around.
Yeah, we Alden men, we're a rough bunch. Don't you forget it.
I love you.
I love you. Anything at all about this Fratellini guy?
Not so far. You ever meet the good Monsignor?
Fratellini? Why would I?
I seem to recall you spending some time in Rome after you left military intelligence working for the highest bidder, sort of a rent-a spy, you might say.
That's cute. Are you insinuating anything, Dan?
Only asking the obvious.
Well, I always worked for our side. I never even heard of this Fratellini guy until you blew into town.
Relax, Clay. Why are you so touchy? You know this business. There's a question at every turn.
I don't like it when the question turns on me. Look, my past is behind me now. I've got a lot at stake here to be involving myself in anything else.
Well, this new life you built for yourself is nothing but a house of cards, and sooner or later, it's all going to come tumbling down.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Been thinking about you all day today. When I got home, I was going to ask you to...
Sounds wonderful, darling. Why don't you go on ahead and I'll join you in a bit.
Why are you waiting?
Because I want to call Mama. She knows I've been ill and she worries.
All right, just don't take so long, will you?
On my way, darling.
What's keeping you? Come on, sweetheart. The water's getting cold. Ava, bring in one of those big bath towels when you come in, will you? Ava, can you hear me? What are you doing with that?
Just looking for your old terry cloth robe. I thought it'd be better than a bath towel, and I'm sure I put it... Are you getting out of the hot tub, or did I miss our date?
Well, if I stayed in there any longer, I'd look like a prune. Maybe sometime later, okay?
Yeah, well, sure.
Besides, it's cocktail hour. If we wait any longer, we'll miss everybody before dinner. Do me a favor, will you go down and mix me up a martini? And I'll be down in just a few minutes?
Sure, one martini coming up.
Good, thank you.
Sweater.
You too? Well, hurry back.
Oh, is something wrong with her?
No, I don't think so. You're going to have to get used to Ava's ups and downs.
Oh, that doesn't bother me. In fact, we're getting along much better these days.
Good. I'm delighted.
She's become so family conscious. The other day, we were looking through the family album. She really got into it. I mean, she wanted to know who everybody was in the pictures and at what time they were taken.
Oh?
Like the 4th of July picnic. Remember you had to rescue Curtis from the tree?
Ah.
10 years old. You would have thought he'd known better.
Curtis was 10 years old.
Yes, and you got that terrible gash in your side. Daddy, you haven't forgotten, have you?
No, no. I remember. Indeed, I remember. It healed and went away.
But how could it?
It wasn't that bad.
Well, Curtis seemed to remember it didn't.
Curtis. How old was Curtis at the time? 4? 5 years old? How did you find out?
Does it matter?
It
I swear, I haven't told a soul.
You better be telling me the truth if you value your life.
Then why are you threatening me? I love you. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you.
How am I supposed to know that?
Because I'm telling you.
We know what your word is worth, don't we?
Clay, please, if you love me, we had so much.
We did have fun. While it lasted.
Why can't we go on?
It could have! If you would have played your cards right.
My car.
Stop asking questions. Minded your own business. Stop snooping around.
What's snooping?
What about this? Hmm?
It was an accident. I wasn't looking for anything. I stumbled across it.
I'm sorry, baby.
God, Clay, Woody.
You know too much.
No, Clay, no.
Hunt for sports, and the sport is vengeance. Kirstie Alley, Paul Winfield, Ricardo Montalban, Leonard Nimoy, and William Shatner star in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, on the ABC Thursday night movie.
This is Jed Duval. How are candidates at the back of the pack, the bottom of the polls, fighting for attention in New Hampshire? Tomorrow on World News This Morning, before Good Morning America.
Creed sets Nico up to take a fall. Children next.
Mr. Alden.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
You don't seem to recognize me, but we've met before. I'm the artist your wife commissioned last Christmas.
The artist?
Yes. Well, actually, she introduced me as your interior decorator.
Oh, yes, of course. Please, step in.
Thank you. I'm sure she's already explained to you our little plot now that she's unveiled your Christmas present.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I'm talking about that splendid portrait of the two of you that she commissioned last Christmas. I'm the artist who painted it.
Mr. Archer, I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage. What portrait are you talking about?
Why, the one that's hanging right...
Intended to what?
Oh, dear, don't...
For being here now.
Right. Well, I made some arrangements with Soames, your butler, to come in and take photographs of this superb portrait that I did of you and your wife, which she had commissioned. You see, in order to show it to prospective patrons.
I understand that, but what is this portrait that you keep talking about?
The one that, well, I'm afraid that's what I've ruined.
Mr. Archer, my wife commissioned you to do a portrait of the two of us?
Yes. You see, I was able to do a portrait of her from life. In your case, we used a photograph of yours. Of course, we couldn't tell you because we wanted to keep it as our little secret.
Well, if she had you do this portrait, where the hell is the picture?
That's precisely the problem. Oh, dear. It was intended as evidently she changed her mind and has decided to save it for some other occasion. And I've spoiled the whole surprise.
Christmas present. Yes, Mr. Archer, you're absolutely right. Yes, that's probably what did happen.
You have some other occasion coming up?
My birthday, in fact. Yes.
Oh, well, then she's saving it for that. I'm so sorry I spoiled everything.
No, Mr. Archer, there was no way you could know. And I'm sure when you called Soames and asked to take a picture of the portrait of Mr. and Mrs. Alden, this is the one he thought you meant.
Well, yes, naturally, Soames was aware that I had come here before to work on that portrait, which you yourself didn't seem to remember at the time.
I'm sorry?
Well, I must admit I was quite surprised when you didn't remember that I was the one who had also done this portrait.
Yes, well, I certainly remember now. Yeah, it was just that everything was so sudden at the time. I came in and I didn't expect to see anybody there with Ava, and it just totally went out.
I understand. As a matter of fact, your wife commented later that it was really rather fortunate that you behaved as if you had never seen me before.
Uh-huh. I bet my wife was rather worried about that close call.
Not at all. In fact, she took it very much in her stride.
You're busy.
No, actually, I would like to talk with you. I don't know, distracted. I was wondering if you knew why. Do you?
Well, Ava certainly hasn't been herself the last couple of weeks. She hasn't said a word to me, but... Well, I had the impression that you and she had a problem.
You have the impression we had a problem.
Well, I feel funny talking about behind her back.
Kate, sit down for a second. Please, sit down. Now, look, I love her, too, and I want to know what's going on.
Well, the last time I saw her, she was real upset. Now, I just assumed that the two of you had had a spat.
So I said, come on, tell your mama, you'll feel better. She insisted that there was nothing wrong.
We haven't even had a minor disagreement, let alone a spat in the past couple of weeks.
Well, that may be true, but I haven't been Ava's mother all these years for nothing. And I know when she's hiding something.
No, I agree with you. I sense it, too, and it's upsetting.
She hasn't tried to talk to you about whatever it is, just hash it out?
No.
Well, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but at one point, she was all up in arms about Rick. She had this notion that he was not your son, that it was some plot he and Gwen had cooked up against you. And she was set to fix their wagons, make no mistake about it. But then all of a sudden, poof, she simmered down and never said another word to me about it.
Well, I was aware of that problem, but like you said, lately she's gone out of her way to make Rick feel welcome at the family. I really haven't a clue as to what's going on here.
Of course, you know Ava. She blows things out of proportions. We're probably wasting our breath here, and there's nothing wrong.
Well, I hope you're right.
Well, one thing I know I'm right about. She's madly in love with you.
It's mutual.
Well, I guess I better be getting to work.
Kate, let me ask you a favor. I don't think Ava would like the idea of us talking behind her back, so maybe we should let this discussion just be between the two of us.
Take a look.
You have a very complicated daughter. You can never quite tell what's in her mind or what she's going to do next.
That is the Lord's truth.
They go in and buy out the store. Why are you staring at me like that?
I didn't know I was.
Ava, what's wrong?
Nothing.
Ava, wait a minute.
I have to go upstairs and
Ava, I
change.
said wait a minute. Now, what's going on?
Clay.
Something is bothering you and has been for the past couple of days. Now, tell me what it is.
Everything is fine. It's just fine.
You think the real Clay Alden would do that?
What, put my feet on the desk? Why not?
He was an Alden. It's a question of style, breeding.
Don't worry about that. I've been doing all right for the past year.
Perhaps you're getting a little too cocky. That's gotten you into trouble before, hasn't it?
Not this time. Everybody accepts me as Clay. Sometimes I accept me as Clay.
And your wife? How long are you going to go on fooling her?
Don't you worry about her. You let me do that.
You'd better. It's tough to cover all the bases, Alex. Sooner or later, she's bound to catch on.
Patient Records Department, please. Hello? I would like to get some information from the birth records of my son, please. That'll be 27 years ago. I hope that's not going to be a problem.
No, it shouldn't be. Well, what's the name of your son?
Well, the record should indicate a baby born to Gwyneth Marshall.
Sure, I know that name.
You do?
Mm-hmm. We had another inquiry about him a couple weeks ago.
Huh.
I don't doubt for a minute that he's a real old. Excuse me for a moment, all right? Oh, and don't forget to order that champagne.
I won't.
Good evening, Clay.
Well, Cynthia, how are you this evening? Where's Dr. Honeycutt?
Oh, he was signaled on his beeper the minute we walked in, so he's on the phone. I do hope it's not an emergency.
Huh.
You're here with Ava, of course.
Yes, she's in the powder room.
She's such a dear girl and so anxious to help. It was a shame that her job as volunteer didn't work out at the hospital.
Oh, she's very sorry she had to quit.
Oh, she's such a sociable girl. She would have been much happier tending to patients rather than that dull work in the records department.
Well, I'm sure the hospital put her exactly where she was needed the most.
Oh, heavens, no. It was entirely her idea. Why, we need volunteers on the ward very badly, but she insisted that she would work in medical records and nowhere else.
Thank you. Here's to us.
To us.
Oh, you missed saying hello to Cynthia and Dr. Honeycutt.
Oh, well, where are they?
Well, he got called away on an emergency before they even had a chance to sit down.
Oh, poor Cynthia. I'm glad you're not a doctor.
She sends her best. She also says she's very sorry that you had to quit your volunteer job at the hospital.
Oh, yeah, I still feel terribly guilty about that. I guess I'm just not cut out for that sort of work.
Filing papers.
Oh, yes, ugh. Oh, look, they do have the breast of duckling tonight. I'm going to get that. I guess you're going to order your usual Turnitos.
Cynthia says that you specifically asked for your job in the records department for the hospital.
Well, I told you. I figured that's where they would need me the most.
Well, she also said that they were short of volunteers in all the departments.
Really? Well, when I offered my time, I had every good intention. Clay, I have a confession to make. It's going to make me sound really awful.
What?
I don't like being near sick people. I figure I couldn't get any germs being around a file cabinet.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, now I'll have much more time to commit to the library benefit for the dinner dance committee. And I figure we should order a very large table with Tricia and the Honeycutts and Rick and maybe your sister and if my Uncle Harry's in town and the Jorgensens, of course. And maybe my mother would love it. For dinner, darling, it was wonderful.
Ah, it was for me, too.
It was a terrific idea to go out and spend a few hours together. You know, you're right. Maybe I was a little bit tense, but I'm relaxing much more now.
I'm glad to hear it, Mrs. Alden.
I'm not Mrs. Clay Alden. You're an imposter.
Ava.
Tell me, who are you? What happened to the real Clay Alden? Why are you doing this to me?
Listen to me, sweetheart.
I think I still love you. I don't know who you are. I have to know the truth. It's killing me.
Sweetheart. I've got to give you credit. You were brilliant in the way you figured this out. I love you, too. And as long as we love each other, why does it matter who the hell I really am? I'm not going to hurt you. My God, Ava, I would never let anything bad happen to you. I just want happiness for you, and I want to be able to share in that happiness. Isn't that enough to keep our marriage together?
Oh, yes. That's all that matters.
There are other things that matter, too. Like the money, and this mansion, and the Alden name and power.
Not as long as you love me.
Well, they matter to me. More than you can ever know.
Well, wait a minute, just a minute. You didn't mean any of it. You were lying.
I've been doing a lot of that lately.
Tell me who you are. Tell me what happened to the real Clay Alden.
You know, I've got some advice for you. You better keep your trap shut. You know what's good for you.
FBI, freeze!
What's going on? What's he done?
Arrested this man for the murder of Clayton Alden.
No!
Murderer? I married a murderer?
Ava, wait a minute! You know, you're very lucky. It's a good thing they caught me. Because you were next. Ava! Ava!
What?
Come on, come to bed.
I have to finish brushing my hair.
You've been brushing your hair 1,000 times. Come on. It's time to go to bed. You've got to get up early in the morning. I've got something very important I've got to take care of.
men's figure skating, speed skating, and hockey all live, plus the women's downhill, tonight at 8 Eastern on ABC.
Jackson's on to Palmer's game. Stay tuned for All My Children next.